YouTube buddies? It's Bob from Oregon's Constant Gardener. Welcome to the OCGFAM show. So, last week we did the step-by-step Nectar episodes with Scott. He was here, Scott Ostrander from Nectar for the Gods, and I did a little bit of it. And the last one, number 4, was where he talked about SLF-100, which is some nifty stuff and works very well when you're working with, I've got one right here, with Nectar for the Gods. And when I was going through making that video, I was doing a little search thing, and I found that, oh God, it was probably this summer, Newton Hayes, the owner and proprietor, the maker of SLF-100, was here. And we did a little interview with him, but we also did a demonstration where he step by step, we actually mixed it up, poured it on a plant, and talked about it quite a bit, the whole thing. And I thought it was interesting, and especially interesting right now when we just were talking about SLF. So what I've got is that video from back then. So I'm going to show you that video, watch that, and then I'll talk to you after. Hey there, Bob from Oregon's Constant Gardener. I'm here with Newton Hayes, SLF-100. This stuff, what is it?
This is a plant and microbe-based enzyme product, in a nutshell.
What does it do?
SLF creates a balance among many other things. There's in the process of making SLF, we utilize plants, a lot of different plants, and we also utilize bacteria. So in the fermentation process, the bacteria and the plants, we're drawing as many enzymes out of both of those as we possibly can. And that's what SLF is. And then we don't sterilize the product. The bacteria are still in SLF.
So I'm growing my plant, I'm putting a lot of nutrients in there, trying to make it big and strong. It's getting too much of one thing, not enough of the other thing, that kind of thing. This helps to balance that all out. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely, yeah. We're going to balance that out by the enzymes either breaking it down or the addition of the bacteria that are in there as well, breaking things down. It's going to break down salts, it's going to break down organics. Anything really that you're going to throw at your plants.
So if you're growing like a hydroponic system, cleaning out your tubes and your lines and things like that, as well as, would it be mostly just that, or would it also be about, are you going to get buildup in there that's going to be affecting the roots of the plant?
Absolutely, depending on what you're using in your hydroponic situation, whether it be organics or synthetics. Organics, you're going to get more buildups of carbohydrates and
all that stuff?
Yeah, all that stuff.
So now if you were growing in soil, I cut you off.
Yeah, or you're using synthetics and you're getting a buildup of salts. You can also get a buildup of calcium in those lines, and it will create a solid, and it will not go, liquid will not pass through those. If you're we're talking more drip lines here.
Sure.
Also, we'll clog up pumps. SLF will take care of the buildups that can and do ruin pumps.
So what's going on there? Is this dust stagnates, tries to clump up together as it's going through the line slowly, and
yeah, it's actually just adhering to the walls.
Okay.
It's
and building up.
It's not actually, the water isn't pushing it out.
So it'll never get pushed through because of the water. But this, what does it do? It breaks it down.
This actually begins to attack that, actually creating a coating around that via enzymes and bacteria that will then loosen that particle up and allow it to pass through the system. We've had people with a lot of buildup in hydroponic systems come back and say everything just immediately clogged up. Well, you had a ton of issues or compiling of issues of buildup in your tubes that once SLF went through it, freed everything up and then and shot it all out the end. So frying pumps and using it as a maintenance will ensure that doesn't happen.
So if you are growing in soil, what are the advantages there? If you're like growing soil and then using a lot of nutrients, like if you're trying to grow one and done kind of crop where you want to make it big.
Right. So you're also creating buildups either of organics or of salts, and in a soil environment where the salts get to just stay there around the root zone, you're creating osmotic pressure where you're now dehydrating your plant or pulling water the wrong way across the root zone. And that's what leads to the clawing and burning of
Okay,
plants.
so you're pouring tons of water on it, but it's not getting any water because it's all backed up with all the stuff that you've been putting in the soil. This makes that stuff break down to where it can be more available to it. And then is the plant actually going to eat more because it's broken down, or is it just going to eat what it wants? And
yeah, it will eat more. It wasn't eating to begin with because of the buildup.
Okay.
And then organics, you're having a buildup on the top layer where you're decreasing infiltration and nutrients cannot get down to the root zone. So your plant, in essence, is not eating at all. So yeah, breaking up that compaction or that cake in the soil, or breaking down the salts that are piling up around the root zone will cause your plants to begin eating correctly.
So these things I'm pouring on there are pretty thick and heavy and big things, and they're not sinking down through the soil. The SLF is breaking those down, and it's all good. So all my roots are eating that. So actually, the plant, I can put more nutrients through the plant to make it bigger than I would have otherwise speaking, and it's also going to be more efficient because it's getting what it wants instead of being backed up with whatever I just happened to.
Absolutely, yeah. We've heard of people power feeding with SLF. I mean, I don't recommend that, but they do utilize more nutrients to. There are some things and other things going on inside of SLF because of the bacteria and enzymes that are in there, but the bacteria also produce other molecules that allow plants to survive osmotic stress. So people have taken that and have power fed their plants with synthetics, allowing their plants to consume a lot higher ppms and survive a lot higher ppms. Calcium based on the other end, like Nectar for the Gods, there are bacteria get in there that are breaking down that calcium phosphate, the calcium that's piling up in the soil. It's actually, those bacteria actually communicate with the root zone and utilize the glucose exudate that the plant is giving, creating oxidizing glucose and creating a gluconic acid that can break down the calcium.
So you could use more, but more reasonably is you don't have to use as much as you would because it's going to be feeding it more efficiently from what you're putting in there.
Right.
That's a more sensible road to go.
Yeah.
Very cool. So how does this stuff work? How do you do it? What do you do? So we got this plant. It's got some buildup on there. This is some good stuff. If it's down here, but not if it's up here, kind of thing. Yeah. So I'll tell you what I do a lot of times. I kind of break that up like that, but that's not really getting it, is it?
No, that's good. I mean, yeah, but you're still piling up calcium in here that is going to increasingly decrease infiltration. Okay. So your nutrients are not going to get down there. You can break it up and things will get down there, but why not break it up and then add SLF to continue breaking that down and utilize that calcium that's in there.
So how much would you mix up? Why don't you show us the whole thing? We got one right here. So open it up.
If you're adding it to your feeds, just add it to your feeds at the 5 mil. If you're having an excessive amount of buildup, I would recommend stopping a feed and doing a SLF water day to combat that issue of the buildup of Herculean. And you can go heavy to break down that calcium. I think just the water and SLF, even at 5 mils per gallon outside on a water day, obviously on a water day, you will get good results. So that's what we're going to do here.
So if you were using Nectar or some other, organic type thing like that, natural type thing, you'd be putting some in your feeding every single time, but you may see some buildup, or would there be, even if you didn't see some buildup, do you think there'd be some days you'd still do a water with just the SLF to kind of even that out?
It really depends on the person's growing style. A lot of people don't even like to do just a water day. They'll they'll add Herculean Harvest all the way through. There is no water day. But if you're getting that moonscape, your plant's getting way too, or your soil is getting way too much calcium, and your plant is not keeping up with the uptake.
Sure.
I think if you've built up that much and you're not using like a calcium facilitator like Bloom Chaos to allow your plant to consume that, it's just going to keep getting thicker and thicker and thicker. So as you break it down with SLF, I really think that the facilitator like Bloom Chaos, allowing your plant to absorb more of that calcium as it's breaking down, is important.
So not just breaking it down with this, but the Bloom to Chaos to actually get some use out of that, so it's not just hanging out in your soil. Because without that, I mean, if you put too much in there, it's never going to eat that up. It's never going to be...
Right, so SLF will break down the calcium, but if your plant can't consume it and you're not using that facilitator,
sure,
it's just going to hang out in the soil.
I got you.
And it's going to congeal again. And then
maybe congeal like
so SLF is creating acids to break down this calcium. So if it's just pooling up and sitting in there, it's just going to create acid and acid and acid, and it's actually going to...
It's through your whole root zone now instead of just hanging out on top too. So it's
you could create a pH issue, and I've talked to a few people that have experienced this issue, and I really think that's my theory, is that they're either just way overdoing Herculean harvest and their plant can't keep up with it, or they're not utilizing the facilitator while they're breaking the calcium down with the SLF.
I gotcha. So it's a 3 thing, not just a 2 things. So, okay, show me what we got going. Do you shake it up?
Absolutely, I would shake it up. So there's a lot of enzymes in there, and the enzymes are great and dandy, but you really want the bacteria in there, because the bacteria actually produce molecules that will act as receptors for enzymes. Enzymes are not alive, so they don't really know where to go.
Oh, this is helping.
Bacteria actually produce a receptor and say, hey, this is where you need to go.
Okay.
And this is what you need to consume and break down for us. So Pseudomonas putida, or Pseudomonas, we have a lot of putida in there. But Pseudomonas species will typically be at the top. They create kind of a balloon, basically, to float to the top because they're aerobic.
Oh, sure, okay.
Obligate aerobes, they need oxygen. So mixing it up is important, because there's different levels of bacteria.
So, you got a bottle of Rick, you're shaking that thing for half an hour. Is this like that? It's just a couple of good shakes, turn it upside down maybe, or you just give it a shake? Okay, you're good to go.
Good to go.
So, standard gallon of water, you're doing it for if you did a watering day to kind of get some of that buildup up, how much do you use?
I would start with a teaspoon. I don't recommend anybody go these gnarly feedings. I've heard a lot of people using up to 30, 40 mils in a feeding. Great if it's working for you and the benefit outweighs the cost, it's great, but I really don't think people need to go there. Start with 5 mils. If that didn't break it down, hit it again. You can always bump up the rate, but try to keep it small.
Is there a danger in giving too much, or consequences?
Never a danger, just a pocketbook danger. It can get expensive.
Okay.
So anyways, a teaspoon.
Or a capful. A little cap will do you.
Cap will do you. So
a little mix, and then how much do you water on there? Do you try to water around the whole area, or what do you? Show us how you do it. You want to use this little one?
No, this is good. I was going to pour some all over the table.
So you try to get it spread around a little bit there.
Yeah, you want to cover the cake, is what I want to do. I want to get it into that cake.
Now, would you still break that up by hand, or maybe you want it to kind of float on top of that, and kind of get some time to build it up?
I want it to just rush off the side,
I
especially with some of the cakes that can build up. It can just go down the side of the plant or the pot,
and
not do anything. I want to get SLF some holes and some avenues to get in there.
Beautiful.
And
well, I think we put you through enough torment having to talk about it. I think you like making it more than you like telling people about it. So that's that. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. That's it for today, except tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about another product that works really good with Nectar for the Gods, cultured biologics. So stay tuned for that. I'll show you that tomorrow, and actually I'm going to have a little bit of a sale on it too, so should be fun. Anyway, that's the show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow. For more information about anything on today's show, go to our website, OCGFAM.com. The OCGFAM show, it's pretty good. It happens every day. It's the OCGFAM show. See you tomorrow.